I think we're going to call this a work in progress video. There's a lot of things I want to show you, but I haven't got time to do it all in one hit, so to speak. And also I wanted to show you the polytunnel because I had some ripe tomatoes in there. Past tense, because I went in there and picked them and ate them, so I can't show you those. So I want to show you some ripe tomatoes, so I'll be bringing you back in. From your perspective it'll seem like in just a few seconds, but from me it could be a number of days. But at the moment I want to talk to you about my Swiss chard. I've had an absolutely fantastic crop of lovely fresh leaves. I've still got more I can pick here. The good thing with this is that you pick it and within, it seems, a few days it's all grown back again. Well, I hammered it. I've harvested a whole load of Swiss chard, and shout out to a chap, I think his name's John. He's got a channel called Hackriculture, and I got my idea from him, what I saw him do with some spinach that he grew in his greenhouse. And what he did was, this was back in the early spring, he grew some spinach in his greenhouse, and then he harvested the spinach and he prepared it all at once, and he part cooked it, then compressed it, boiled it down, and put it in the freezer. And that's what I did with this Swiss chard. I picked a whole load of it. I put it in, I think it's called blanch, and I blanched it in a pan of hot water for 2 or 3 minutes. Then dumped it into cold water, and then got it all out of the water and put it into a colander type of thing. And I used a plate, and I pushed this plate down to form a kind of a wedge to push the water out and to make it as dry as I could get it. So that left me with a cake of a Swiss chard, which I then just chopped up into 1/8 pieces, I think. So 1/8 is enough for a meal for me and Mandy. So that was then put into bags, put in the freezer, and that's in the freezer now, ready for whenever we want it. And all along, the Swiss chard here is growing another crop. But another thing about Swiss chard is that it's apparently it's got a lot of oxalates, and the oxalates can, in some people, can cause things like kidney stones and what have you. So I think a lot of what applies really is moderation in all things. You don't want to be eating too much of any one thing, I think. The other thing that I'm constantly doing is weeding the beds as well, and it's not too difficult if you're on it all the time. Whenever you're doing some harvesting, just pull out a few weeds and you keep on top of it. Well, this is my Brassica bed at the moment, and I don't know how the cabbage whites have got in there, but they got in. They're a bloody nuisance. Anyway, I'm going to I've had mixed results with these, to be honest with you. Mixed results. The cauliflowers have all bolted. Yeah, they've gone. The flowers are just blown open. They haven't done particularly well. The cauliflowers haven't done well, but the cabbages, they are a lot better. I've got good cabbage heads forming now, so I'm happy with that. Cauliflowers, no. I think we'll miss the cauliflowers next time round, I think. Yeah, I've done really well with the cabbages. In fact, I think I'm going to take one. This one here will be my willing victim. Look at that. Yes, I'm taking it. There's a bit of something got in there, but there's going to be a lot of edible cabbage there. So I'm quite happy with that. right or wrong, I think I'm going to abandon these beetroot, pull them out. I don't know, they're not happy with the beetroots. They can come out and make room for something else. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in. I may sow some beetroot seeds, because I like beetroot and we're getting a bit low on beetroot. We've had quite a lot of really good beetroot off the plot so far this year, but there's always room for some more. One good thing is that I haven't got no club root. It's all the roots of the plants are really healthy. So all that I've got left in this bed now is just the cabbages, and I'll pick up a few of these leaves, just tidy it up and give the bed a hoe over, I think. Well, the good thing with the organic gardening is that nothing ever goes to waste. Even your failures get put into the compost bin and go on to improve the soil for the next crop. Well, I've cleared the beds. I'm just going to water in the bottom of the drills. I've made some drills, just 3 little drills here. Get some water in there, and then I'll plant some beetroot seeds. Yeah, the ground is quite dry. Surprising, even though I've given it a good watering. Well, there's the seeds I should be growing, or sowing rather. These are beetroot bolt hardy Marshall's seeds, kindly given to me by Judy from Shrivenham. Judy's a channel member, so thanks Judy. We're going to get these in the ground now. It does say on the packet best before 2024, so we're 2 years out of date, but there's still a good likelihood we're going to get some germination. Fingers crossed. So it's not so easy to see the drills, but they are here. There, one there, and then one along there. So we'll get these seeds sowed in the ground, and I'm not going to be too careful with them, because you've got to bear in mind they are quite old seeds and I might not get 100% germination, so I think I can afford to sow them a little thicker than I would normally and then thin them. So that'll do. Hopefully we'll get something from that. What I like to do is just give the bed a tamp with the rake, just to make sure the soil's in contact with the seeds, and then I'll give it another watering. The onions overall generally are coming on really nice. It won't be long now before I'll be harvesting these. Generally they'll fall over. When they fall over, then that's an indication that they're getting ready to be harvested basically. I've got one or two down here which have fallen over, but the others have really got such a lot of good strong growth on, they could go on for another week or two. At the back here I didn't do so well because I interplanted these with beetroot, and the beetroot shaded the onions and yeah, really set them back. So that's a mistake I won't be repeating next year. But these onions are also the first time I've ever grown from seed. You can see how tall they are. none of them are bolted. In the past I've grown onions from sets, and you've got to be careful how you do that, because a set is a second year onion. Its design, it's what it wants to do is to set seed, set up a flower and set seed, and that's how the onion, it's a biannual plant, I suppose. But anyway, got some large bulbs at the front, a couple of fallen over ones, and some smaller bulbs at the back. I am going to feed these. I'm going to give them one last feed, and I'll show you how I do that now. This is my my hot bin composter. I showed it before on the channel, and it's got a reservoir and a screw cap, and as the compost sort of composts, a leachate, a brown liquid gathers in the bottom, and this is what I've been using to feed all the plants. No, I haven't bought any plant food, it's all come from the hot bin. Let's see what we've got in here. Hopefully we'll have a fair bit of black gold. So generally on a day I'm sort of gathering maybe about a pint and a half of leachate. There we are, black gold. It's quite strong, the leachate, so I just dilute it in a watering can, and then apply it to the crops. But I do it in such a way that the feed gets actually washed well down into the roots, and I'll show you how I do that now. Just wait for this to fill up. So basically I've got feed in one hand, and I've got my watering lance in the other, and I'll give the plants a good water and a good drink of feed. And just go over them like this, and then the watering lance washes all the good nutrients into the ground. Some of the nutrients go on the leaves. Don't want them on the leaves, so I just use the watering lance to rinse them off onto the ground, and the roots then take all that lovely leachate nutrition up, and helps our onions to grow. As I say, this is probably the last watering and feed these onions are going to get before I harvest them. It's kind of like their last supper. I have showed on the channel the watering system that I've got. I'm using rainwater from IBCs at the moment. I'm getting quite low on it, to be honest with you. I've probably got about 500 litres of rainwater left, and then that's it. Well, that is their last drink. That is it. Next operation will be harvesting, maybe in a week or two. Talking of harvesting, Mandy's told me I've got to get some potatoes for tea tonight. So let's harvest a bucket of spuds, see how they're doing. Well, I've already harvested 2 buckets, this is the 3rd bucket, and yeah, a little bit disappointed with the crop I've been getting off of them so far. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done alright, but I think I did better last year, and I think that was down to the compost. I think the compost I used this year was the recycling centre compost. When it was delivered in a bulk bag, it was really still quite hot and fresh, and I don't think it's really mature enough. Anyway, let's see what we've got. Let's have a rummage. There's one. Well, let's just put them in here for now. We've got potatoes. We've got potatoes. That's the seed. Yeah, there's some good spuds there. A few small ones. Oh, we ain't done too bad, you know. I think I was maybe taking them a bit too early. You really want to wait till the haulms, the green growth dies back, and then that's an indication that they're ready for harvesting. So I got a white bucket. I put them in a white bucket. Try and get them all, even the little ones, because they'll grow again next year as a green one there. Don't particularly want that. This variety are called Charlotte, which is the second early. I think that's about it. So there you go. There's a harvest of potatoes. I mean, there's a good few days worth there. I'm not sure how much that weighs. A couple of kilograms maybe. But good, fresh as you like, homegrown organic potatoes. I don't think you can get much better than that. Really loving the marigolds. Got some beautiful flowers. Such an easy flower to grow as well, you know, provided it doesn't get hit by the frost early on. But yeah, really impressed with how they've come on. I planted these on the outside of the polytunnel. Yeah, talking of the polytunnel and tomatoes, Mandy's confessed her crime. She's been coming into the polytunnel and helping herself to my tomatoes when they've been turning ripe. So there should be far more ripe tomatoes in there than there actually is. But anyway, there are some now, so come on in and have a look. Yes, it has started to look a bit like a jungle. And now I've got, genuinely I've got tomato plants that are taller than me. Incredible to think that, you know, just a few months ago these were tiny. Well, I sowed them as seeds. When was it? March time, I think. And just look at them now. I mean, this one here, I'm having to pull the top out of it soon. I won't let it get much higher. I mean, it can't go much higher. It's up to the string now. And a few of them along here are the same. And they've all got stacks of fruit on. Most of it's still green, but we have got some ripe tomatoes. This variety of tomato is known as the pork chop. It's not quite ripe yet, but look at the size of it. It's probably going to double in size as well before it turns ripe. And these little cascades of teardrop shaped fruit. There's one down there which should be ripe pretty soon. And this variety is actually called teardrop. That was what Loz sent me. So yeah, they've come true to form, Loz. They are teardrops. Now we get into the ripe fruit. These are Gardener's Delight. I'm going to be picking a few of these to have for lunch. And believe me, they are an absolute delight. They taste beautiful. Also the smell, I don't know if you can see it, but there's thyme and basil, onions, all sorts. It smells delightful. And of course, marigolds. Well, it's over a week later and we've had some glorious hot weather again. The onions are beginning to fall over now, and still not quite ready for harvesting. I'll leave them in until most of them fall over, then I will pull them out of the ground. But I'm going to do okay with these, I think. They're a little bit thick-necked, and that could be down to the fact that I was maybe giving them a bit too much nitrogen. And as I said earlier, they are Elsa Craig. Apparently they're not the best keepers, but at the time I couldn't find any other. I wanted to grow stir-on, but I couldn't find stir-ons. That's all they had in the garden centre, the Elsa Craig seeds. But they're going to make good onions. I'm sure we're going to have some of them to eat. The beans now are in flower. These are the Greek gigantis beans, and then moving across here we've got the runner beans, and the bees are loving it. There's a bumblebee in there, look, doing his job. We work with nature in this garden. I've continued to water the potatoes, but they have now started to die back, and that's just a naturally what the plant does. There's moisture in the compost, and there's big potatoes. I can just feel them. So my plan of action is just to leave these, and when I need them, I'll let them die back now, and when I need them I'll just harvest a bucket and take them indoors. The cabbages have done really well. I've harvested a couple of cabbages now, and I've blanched them and put them in the freezer, and we've had a few meals with cabbages in. The celery's done fantastic. This celery will self-blanch, so basically it grows quite dense, and you can see we've got good stems, not quite tall enough to harvest yet, but not far off. And it grows dense, and it kind of sort of self-blanches itself. I've seen someone grow celery in pots and it didn't seem to be doing very well. Celery needs a lot of moisture, and the only way you get consistent moisture, I found, is by growing in the ground. If you can grow in the ground, you're far better off. And moving on into the polytunnel for one last time. Yeah, we've got some pretty amazing growth now. This is up to the ceiling. A lot of the plants now are up to above my head height, and put myself in the frame for comparison so you can see. And with the doors back and front, we've created a through draft, so it is a degree or two hotter in here than it is outside. But the plants seem to be okay. I've had a little bit of leaf roll. I noticed that on some of the varieties, especially the pork chop giant tomatoes, they don't seem to like the heat as much, whereas the smaller cherry varieties seem to tolerate the hotter weather no problem. There's a couple of those big beefsteak tomatoes here. They're still not ripe, and that's been a while now, so we'll have to wait for those to ripen up. But other varieties, this is Rosella. These are now producing ripe tomatoes, and they're a funny sort of off reddish sort of colour, but they taste absolutely delightful. There's more Rosellas there. The plants are now producing tomatoes, ripe tomatoes, faster than we can eat them. There's a different variety here. I think this is Gardener's Delight. Anyway, that's the update in this latest hot weather we've got. The hot weather isn't too bad, provided you can get plenty of water. You've got to water. I must admit, having the Bosch pump and the watering lance has been an absolute game changer. It's made what would be normally a laborious job into one which is a pleasure. It takes me about 20 minutes to water the whole lot. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll give you another update in about a month's time. See you on the next one. So there you go, there's my haul. Some beetroot, some fresh chard leaves, a sprig of basil, onions, tomatoes, and of course a good old staple, potatoes.